Hey everyone, welcome back to Amaze Math. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for the returning viewers. Thank you for my current 47 subscribers. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. Let's get to 100 subscribers this month. And today's video will be solving simultaneous equation by substitution. Please watch till the end and let me know your feedback in the comment section. Let me know if you understood the concept and if you understood the question. If you're presented with such a question, are you able to do it? So let me know at the end of the video. Thank you so much, and let's go ahead and work this out. In today's video, we'll look at only one question. So that's the question we are going to answer. So we have x plus y equals to 6 and x times y. That is the same as times y equals to 6. Before we work out this question, we need to understand what is a simultaneous equation. What is a simultaneous equation? If you know, just write the meaning in the comment section. But a simultaneous equation is an equation where you have two variables, two unknown variables, and you have two equations. So you need to find the answer for x and the answer for y. And today's video will look at substitution. There are different ways of solving simultaneous equation. So let's go ahead and start. So what do you understand by substitute? It means you replace. So for example, let's say in the morning you normally have like eggs, bacon, and maybe bread, and then you decide to substitute it with maybe beans. Maybe substitute it with also potatoes. So that's called substitution. You're going to replace these eggs, bacon, and bread with beans and potatoes. So you're removing this, and instead of that you put something else. So that's the concept you're going to use for this equation. So the first equation, we need to make one of the variable the subject of the formula. I have a video on subject of formula on how to make one of the variables the subject of the formula. So using the first equation, you have x plus y equals to 6. We can decide to make x the subject, or we can decide to make y the subject of the formula. So let's do x as a subject of the formula. How do you make x the subject? So we take minus y on both sides. So it's going to be 6 minus y. And in the previous video, we have looked at how to solve equations. So you can also check that video. Okay, so x equals to 6 minus y. Now I'm going to replace or substitute this x value over here. So instead of using x, I'm going to use this value. So x equals to 6 minus y. So that's the first equation. Now whatever value we got in the first equation, we substitute it in the second equation. Now in the second equation, you have x times y equals to 6. Instead of using x, you're going to replace it, or rather we're going to substitute this with this. So let's use 6 minus y as our x. So 6 minus y times y equals to 6. In algebra, bracket is the same as multiplication. So we're using a bracket because we have two terms. Okay, so now I can start with this one. We can start with y. 6 minus y equals to 6. I hope you understand so far. So the next move is to expand this bracket. So we have expansion. So far we have done subject of the formula, we have done substitution, and now we are doing expansion. We also have another video on expansion. Please feel free to go over the videos that I've made. Okay, so in expansion, you're going to take the y times 6 and then the y times y. So all the terms inside the bracket will be multiplied out by the term outside the bracket. So y times 6 is 6y minus, because this one is a minus, y times y is y squared equals to 6. Now we have formed This one is a quadratic equation. Why is it a quadratic equation? Because the y has a power 2. So let's write it out again. So now to make it a quadratic equation equal to 0, we'll do minus 6 on both sides. So here we're left with, I'll start with this one because a quadratic equation is in this format, plus bx plus c equals to 0. So we want to make this one a 0. That's why you're doing minus 6 on both sides. So 6 minus 6 equals to 0. Then we can rewrite all this. We start with them. In this case, we can replace the x with y because we're dealing with y. So ay squared plus by plus c equals to 0. It's the same concept. So now we start with the y squared, which is negative y squared. You take the sign before the letter. Then the next one will be by is this one. The sign is plus 6y. Then the coefficient is c, which is minus 6. So minus y squared plus 6y minus 6 equals to 0. Now that's a quadratic equation. Now to find the value of y, we're going to use the quadratic formula. So what is the quadratic formula? So quadratic formula, it can be x or y depending on the letter you have. In this case we have y, but it's the same thing, equals to minus b plus or minus, into bracket you have b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so we're going to use this to solve for y. Now we have to write all the coefficients, so a, b, and c. And that is why we had to rearrange this equation in this format so that we can be able to get our a, b, and c. A is attached to the y squared. What is the number attached to the y squared? It's negative 1. What is the coefficient of y? It's 6. And c is negative 6 is the constant. Now we come and substitute these values in this equation. So we're going to say y equals to negative, b is 6 plus or minus into square root of b squared is 6 squared minus 4 times 4ac is 4 times a times c. A is negative 1, c is negative 6. And then you close the bracket. All over 2a. 2a is 2 times a is negative 1. So we have done substitution of these values in this formula. So negative b is negative 6 plus or minus square root of 6 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times negative 6 all over 2 times negative 1. Now we go ahead and work out whatever is inside the bracket. So we have negative 6 plus or minus square root of 6 squared is 36 minus into bracket 4 times negative 1 times negative 6 is 24, because negative and negative becomes a positive, so plus 24. Then all over 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So 36 minus 24 is 12, right? So y equals to negative 6 plus or minus 36 minus 24 is 12 all over negative 2. So here we have two values. We have y equals to negative 6 plus root 12 all over negative 2, or we have y equals to negative 6 minus root 12 all over negative 2. Here we have two values for y because there's a plus here and a minus. So plus over here and then minus on the next one. So these two would be our answer, but we can simplify it. So we can start with this one, y equals to negative 6 plus, so root 12 can be written as 4 times 3, isn't it? 4 times 3 is 12 all over negative 2. This is the same as negative 6 plus root 4 is 2, and then you put root 3 because we can't find root 3 all over negative 2. Now we can factorize this top part. What's common between negative 6 plus 2 root 3? The common factor would be 2. So 2 goes outside. Then you're left with negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3 plus this one divided by 2 will just be root 3 all over negative 2. So we cancel the 2 with this one and you're left with minus 3 plus root 3. We can open the bracket. Negative times negative 3 would be positive 3 minus root 3. So that's one of the y values. So one of the answers was 3 minus root 3, and that one is from y equals to negative 6 plus root 12 over negative 2. Now let's do the one with the negative over here. So we're going to do negative 6 minus root 12 can be written as 4 times 3 all over negative 2. Now this one, negative 6 minus root 4 is 2 root 3 because we do not have root 3, so you're going to leave it in surd form. So that is surds. And then here negative 2. The next step is to factorize this one. So what's the highest common factor we have is 2 into bracket. This one divided by 2 would be negative 3. Negative 2 root 3 divided by 2 would be negative root 3 all over negative 2. And I can see here we have a minus and a minus, so we can factorize this one again. We remove the minus outside, so negative 2. This one will become positive and positive root 3 all over negative 2. So that one and that one will cancel, and you're left with 3 plus root 3. So the two values for y would be y equals to 3 minus root 3 minus root 3, or this one, y equals to 3 plus root 3. So in summary, this is what we had to do to solve this simultaneous equation. We had to make x the subject and then use that value in the second equation by substitution. So you replace that value, then you do your expansion, you form a quadratic equation, then you use the quadratic formula to find the two answers. So you use the quadratic formula to find the two answers. Then we applied surd form to find the two answers for y. And that marks the end of our lesson today. I hope you've understood it, and thank you for watching till the end. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you have any feedback, also leave it in the comment section. Please remember to like this video and to share with other people. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.